Well, good afternoon, day, whatever, of the quarantine. I'm Lunchbox. This is Metahuti. She's my owl, hanging out in the backyard of Compound Box. Biding our time, hanging out, watching the world proliferate and grow and deal with some of the feelings that it's feeling. And as a society and a collective, a community, people, having a hard time dealing with our feelings and with freaking out. Now's probably one of the only times in the world that you're allowed to freak out. Death is coming for us. And none of the people that I care about 98% of the people that I care about, don't seem to care. I'm immunocompromised, so I already live a life of isolation. Hey, I am trying to talk to the people. Planes think they own the world. Think they're higher than everyone else. It's a joy, by the way, America. And I'm allowed. I talked to a doctor and everything. You're either not taking it seriously or you're panicking like the world is going to end and the situation is in the middle. Like anything else that's ever happened in the history of time. In the history of bad things happening. And a lot of you haven't lived in a world where suddenly the job that you do didn't matter so much anymore. Or the social elements that you enjoyed weren't suddenly threatening your very existence in your life. And that's hard, and I feel for you. We feel for them, right? The world's changing. It's going to be different now. There's going to be a shift in what we hold sacred and what we're willing to fight for. Because suddenly, no matter how good you are at managing a property or owning land or doing any of the 5,000 superfluous jobs that don't really matter anymore, if you're not making food or keeping people safe directly or relieving people who are sick or keeping things clean and functioning, then suddenly you find yourself with a surplus of time on your hands, and suddenly you find yourself in a world where your merit has changed because now you have to figure out something else to contribute. That seems really scary, but I encourage you now in these moments, that thing that you've been wanting to work on, that idea that you've had that you didn't think anyone would like, all those dreams in your heart and your chest, now's the time. Now's the time to grasp those things. Now's the time to start working. Now's the time to start writing that show or that play or that book. And I realize I'm not saying anything that anyone hasn't said before, but maybe I'll go a little bit farther and say this. It's going to be better than you think it is. And it's going to be harder to create than you would ever imagine. That's the part that I don't think people, when they're encouraging people to make things, tell them. It's hard. It's hard to make something. It's hard to make something original. It's hard to make something creative. It's hard to make something and influence it and fill it with your thoughts and ideas and feelings and philosophies and words, you know. You gotta start somewhere. Now's the time. I would encourage you to continue to stay inside. Watch the movies you want to watch. Eat the piece of chocolate. It's important. We're taking care of ourselves. She gets like 3 frogs a day, and it's her favorite. Yeah, 3 frogs a day. Favorite snack. She's just being grumpy. I told her we were going to do this video, and she immediately got upset. Also, she doesn't like being woken up in the middle of the day. This is like midnight for her, technically. Right? Right. Another thing I've been thinking about, and I mean, this is more of just kind of a funny musing that I remember reading a million years ago. Like, people are talking like, we dealt with the first half where, you know, like, oh man, you're not taking it serious enough. No, this is serious. People are going to die. People that you know are going to die. The disease is incredibly powerful and we're not prepared, and we're still at the incubation stage. Like, we don't know who's going to start showing symptoms. We don't know who's strong enough to fight it off. I know that we don't have enough beds in our hospitals. Sobering thought to ruminate on. The world's not going to end, though. The world's not going to end. The world's been through way worse stuff than this. Giant wars, nuclear explosions. That time the meteorite hit the planet and wiped out all the dinosaurs, that was rough. But life persisted. We will persist. I gotta be real with you, world. There's a really high chance that I could die. I'm scared. I was sick and in the hospital before, and it was a nightmare. And in addition to the kind of conditions and health problems that I'm dealing with, from genetic disorders and diseases, me getting it doesn't just mean that I'll get sick. It means I'll go crazy before I die. The last time that happened, I almost didn't survive, and like, it was really, really scary. Facing down an enemy that everyone doesn't want to fight. Facing down a problem that everyone doesn't feel prepared for to deal with. And a lot of your solutions were to buy a bunch of toilet paper and go on vacation. Like, come on. A lot of you are sitting around thinking, well, the government's always hated us and they've always manipulated us. And yeah, there are elements of truth to that. But we haven't ever lived in a world where they can openly attack. And it seems like there are some elements out there that want that desperately. And I don't think that soldiers are going to come rushing through America and gunning down anyone who doesn't give their assent to the powers that be. Like, I don't think we live in a world like that. Like, those soldiers are our brothers and sisters. They're people that we know, you know. I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to be surprised to think about and look around and see how many people are helping and coming up with solutions. And you're going to be impressed with how the world has shifted, and like, we don't need those people anymore. We don't need those people in power to be in those positions. They've proven their incompetence beyond the shadow of a doubt. They cannot be trucked with, or parlayed with, or reasoned with, or explained to, because they don't live in the same reality as us. And yet they're allowed to, in no small way, shape the world we live in. It can't go on any longer. And not for nothing, but this disease that we're facing down, this virus, this contagion, this plague. Sorry. Doesn't care. It doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care what kind of medical care you get. It doesn't care how strong you are. It doesn't care if you think that you are able to get away from it. It'll be everywhere. It can go anywhere. And a lot of us are already carrying it without realizing. Are you disappointed in me? Whatever. I want the world that we inherit and the world that we make next to be good. I want it to be a world where, by benefit of being alive, you have value. And everyone has a chance to share their ideas and thoughts and feelings. And everyone has a chance to experience the beauty of life. One of the things that helped kill a lot of the racism and the homophobia and the misogyny that I was raised in was experiencing how beautiful women and people of color and all of the LGBTQ community can be. the connection of the human spirit and the understanding that, like, all of these little differences that the quasi-religious world that forged me told me were so important didn't matter at all. You're going to look around in the midst of this chaos, and you're going to see all these people that you never thought you could have counted on helping, being of use, and being of service. It connects us. Strife connects us. A lot of the science fiction books that I've read, the thing that unites humanity is an enemy appearing from outer space. And suddenly all the racial connotations and religious connotations and societal connotations and economic connotations melt away because there's a new enemy to fight. And suddenly the only thing really connecting us is the thing that already connected us from the beginning. We're human. None of us wish for tragedy to befall our times. None of us wish to live through strife and chaos, but take it from someone who has drank deep of that chaos already. It can be beaten. It can be defeated. We can work together. Except maybe owls. Owls aren't allowed to come, right? Right? She's ignoring me. She does that sometimes. Thank you guys for listening. This is Lunchbox. I'll probably hit you back with a couple more videos as time wears on. Probably more Matterhooty. So, yeah, thank you. All right.